Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this. Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast, and a very, very happy new year. This is the first episode of 2023. I want to ask you, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Are you feeling ready? Are you feeling motivated? Or are you feeling frazzled? I think a lot of people are feeling a little bit of both. We're going to take a few seconds to do something, which is whether you're super, super excited or you're already feeling like you're behind and that how are you ever going to accomplish all these goals that you have? Let's take a deep breath together. On the count of 3, you're going to take a deep inhale all the way up to the top of your head and you're going to hold it and then you're going to exhale. Are you ready? Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Deep inhale. Hold it. And let it all out. You can feel free to pause this audio and do that a few times. I've got some news for you. It might be the first week of the year, but not only do you have, hopefully, 365 days to accomplish all your goals, but you have a lifetime where you can become the person that you want to be. And I know that we've been talking so much in my podcast about manifestation. And when it comes to manifesting, we really do need to loosen the grip on the timeline because sometimes things happen much faster than we want them to, but sometimes they take longer. I just saw one of my mentors who posted a Facebook memory from 4 years ago, Melanie Ann Layer, saying, we are almost at the $1 million mark for 2018. And at the end of 2022, she's made over $60 million. The timeline wasn't reasonable. It was absolutely insane. But whether you want to lose weight, have business success, however you define that, make $1 million, make multiple 7 figures, we have time and we can loosen the grip in order to enjoy the process and let go of the crazy self-imposed stress. It is self-imposed. We do tend to put it on ourselves, but it also comes with society and its crazy standards at times. I would love to share a word with you that has been so impactful for me in 2022, but I'm carrying that word with me on to 2023. And the word is becoming. And listen, I know that the word of the year is very popular. I don't care what I do care what your word of the year is, but I'm saying you're welcome to have your own word of the year. And I'm breaking the rules. I decided that my words of the year are holistic prosperity. I want prosperity in every single area of my life. So that's not 2 words, but I also want the word becoming. And who says that you're only allowed to have 1 word? My word is becoming. As you have set your goals for this coming year, I know that there's a part of us that is already stressing and you're wondering, how am I going to make this happen? And you're probably wishing, not consciously, but subconsciously, that you had some sort of flash drive and that you could just inject the flash drive into some kind of software, hardware into our bodies, and that boom, that transformation would happen. And sometimes I feel like that when I'm teaching one of my courses. It's the first day of class and I know the transformation that is before my students. I know everything that they have got ahead of themselves, that everything that they're going to learn. And there's a part of me that always feels like, I just wish I could just give them a flash drive and then that way they could just magically download everything. But that's not life and that's not fun. The fun comes from the becoming. So when you're setting your goals, if you've already set them, number one, I hope that you've set goals that are large enough so that you can grow into them. And let's say I have one of my students who wants to build a 7-figure business and she just started her business. Well, that is one big goal. It may or may not happen by the end of 2023, but she's absolutely going to have to grow into that goal in terms of everything, in terms of becoming the kind of person that could lead a team, in terms of becoming the kind of person that can handle the kinds of challenges that come with making that kind of income. There's so much growth that is required, but you can enjoy that process and enjoy the becoming. We really do forget to enjoy the process. I did this personal development. It was like a retreat many years ago. And we had to climb this 40-foot pole. And at the end of the pole, all the way at the top, there was like a trapeze thing, like a swing. And I rushed through that pole, up the pole, 40 feet up. Of course, I was scared, but that's why I rushed up there, because I can 100% be like a bull in a china shop. And then I didn't take a moment to bask in the glory that I got myself up there. And genetically, by the way, my husband and I were just talking about it this morning. I am afraid of heights. And I just threw myself towards the swinging trapeze thing and I fell, and I had a harness. And so of course I was not hurt, but there was like the guy that was working there. He's the one that said, you're like a bull in a china shop. Where else in your life do you show up like this? Where else in your life are you just rushing through the process? And I don't think I got it back then. This is about 10 years ago, but I certainly get it now. There are so many of us who are just rushing through the process, trying to get through whatever it is, whatever activity, whatever process we're going through. And we just want to get to the end result, but that's not where the joy is. So this is just a little reminder. I think the most of us need it, including myself, to enjoy the journey, embrace the becoming, because that's the juicy part of life. This process of accomplishing our goals, it involves learning. You may have to learn some information, then it involves the application, the implementation. Then, okay, that worked, that didn't work, I got to tweak it. Let me try this again. And then you might fail. But what is failure? There's no such thing as failure if you just revise it. There's only learning. And this whole process that I'm describing is the becoming. I've had so much fun creating my online courses, creating my podcast. I think with my podcast at times, I've forgotten to enjoy the process because sometimes I have a deadline or something like that. But whenever I have forgotten, and this has not happened in the past few months, I remind myself that my podcast is a long form expression of myself. This made me so happy just to say that. It's an opportunity for you, my listener, to get to know me on a deeper level that you can't get to know me from a Facebook post, an Instagram post, a reel, whatever short format. If my podcast is an expression of my true self, how beautiful is that? How lovely is that? And how privileged am I? So what the heck am I getting stressed about? There's a beautiful scene in Alice in Wonderland. I watched the 2010 film, the one with Johnny Depp. I highly recommend it. It is so good. But towards the end of the film, Alice tells the caterpillar is changing. He's in metamorphosis. And she's sad. She was so sad. She said, I think his name was Globulin. I can't remember his name in the movie, but she said, you're dying. And he goes, no, I'm transforming. And he repeated, I believe he repeated, unless I'm making this up, he said, energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed. And that is actually a concept from Albert Einstein. We cannot destroy energy. It only transforms. So we actually never die. We just change form. So if we can remind ourselves, because a lot of times we also say things like, the old me has to die and I'm ready for the new me, and sick of the old self. And it's like, I have to abandon the old self. And it's like, wait, you're not actually like dying. I guess eventually all your cells get renewed and then you actually do die and then you transform into something else. But energy never dies. It's transformed. And the same thing with you and me. We're undergoing a beautiful metamorphosis. And it's not always a pretty process. Look at birth. I mean, it's a beautiful and miraculous process. The fact that it's natural doesn't mean that it's not miraculous, I think. I used to be such a cynic. I used to think things like, what's the big deal? Like, birth happens every day. It's not miraculous. No, I think it's beautiful now and that I'm much older. But the process of transforming, whether it's a baby or whether it's a worm or moth, whatever it's called, and it's transforming into a caterpillar and then it transforms into, I think it's called a chrysalis before it turns into a butterfly. It's not always a pretty process. Just like with ourselves, it is not always a pretty process for us. Last year, at the end of 2022, I was really seeking acceptance of myself, of where I was. And I had a lot of health stuff that was going on. And I'm feeling so much better, other than the fact that I tore part of my bicep last week, but I'm recovering from that. But I really was seeking acceptance and just another level of myself. And I signed up for a mastermind that wasn't quite what I had hoped it would be, but I don't blame anyone, because any experience that you go through, there's something to learn from it. And so there was a woman in that mastermind who recommended a course, which I wound up taking, which I actually didn't like the course that much. But in the course, there was a student who had asked a question about, for you high money magnets, how do you do it? And I got so lit up. I was like, I know how to do it. I know how to become a money magnet. And that's how the idea for my course Money Magnet was born. And then at the car wash, I just announced on Instagram that I was going to lead a course. And because I knew what the steps were to become a money magnet. And I had the best fun and the best success. And then I went on to have a successful year. And I was still looking for like a home base, like a mentorship. And one thing led to another. And then I found an amazing group. And now for the first time ever, I've invested big in a one-on-one mentorship and a mastermind with very successful women completely outside of, well, some of them are in the health and fitness field, but they're completely outside of network marketing. And I'm so excited. My point with this is that there is absolutely no way that I could have predicted where I was going to land at the end of 2022 and where I am in 2023. Like, I technically, literally have shocked the heck out of myself, because it's been such a beautiful, unpredictable process. And no amount of strategy, no amount of goal setting could have gotten me to this point without the magic of trusting, believing. This is all feminine energy, trusting, believing, and in manifestation, and trusting and believing that I would find my way. And I did. I want to share one more example, if in case you're looking to get clarity on, well, how do I embrace this process if I'm trying to achieve a goal? So I just did give you an example of myself. I had a goal of self-acceptance. It wasn't a doing goal. It wasn't an achieving goal. I just wanted to feel more peace, more self-acceptance. But this is one of my many goals for 2023. And all my goals are soul goals, by the way. And that is to master my social media content, but to do it in a way that feels delicious and fun and exciting for me. So I decided probably sometime in November or December that I really wanted to get back into my network marketing business. And I also want to grow my online course offerings, but I have been kicking and screaming regarding social media. And I was really treating it like an afterthought. Like, I was kicking and screaming and saying like, I got to post. Oh my God, I don't want to post. This is horrible. I hate reels. I mean, talk about manifesting and talk about energy, and the energy that I was putting forth into the world, regardless what I was saying, was poo-poo energy. And so how can I possibly grow my social media in a quantum kind of way? How could I enjoy the process if I was being miserable about it? I couldn't. I literally could not. And so I decided to give myself an attitude change. And I asked myself these questions. I asked myself the question, how can I embrace the process? How can I get myself really on board with the process of enjoying, creating social media content? How can I enjoy this process? And the way that I found out, I actually found the sentence through one of my new mentors, and her name is Shoshana Raven. She just said it kind of casually that social media is an expression of herself. Social media is an extension of her soul. And I was like, okay, that's all you needed to say. Seriously, that was worth thousands of dollars right there. Social media is an expression of who I am. I don't know what I've been using social media as. I think at some point it used to be the expression of who I am, and then I got lost. And I think maybe I started seeing what my neighbors were doing and comparing myself. And it turned into something that I didn't like. And now that I'm like, okay, I'm about to post, I'm about to make a reel. Is this an expression of who I am? Yes. All right. So then let's go for it. And now I'm teaching my clients and the people that I sponsor in my network marketing business to use social media as an expression of what is in their soul, because who we are being is who we're going to attract. So that one question, how can I embrace this process of social media? Because I knew that if I wanted to grow my network marketing business, if I want to attract soul aligned clients, then I would need to grow my social media. But it wasn't going to happen if I had a stinky attitude. So asking this question, how can I embrace that? So I hope that that helps you, because nothing is cut and paste. There isn't a 2-3 step process. Life doesn't work that way. It's you looking into your soul and asking yourself, what do I need? What do I need to do? What do I need to feel? How can I embrace this? And then the last thing that I want to share with you is that I guess I can have a little bit of a perfectionistic streak. I get frustrated with social media when I have a vision in my head of how I want something to come out. And then I create it and I'm like, okay, that's not what I wanted to say. That's not the way that I wanted to look. That's not how I wanted to express myself. And so another question that I came up with was, how can I give myself grace? How can I extend myself some grace in this process? Because if I overthink things and I don't do the thing, I don't post the post, I don't make the podcast, I don't post the reel, I don't get on my stories because I'm worried that it's not a full expression of who I want to be, guess what happens? I can't actually improve, because the previous version, the previous iteration won't be there for me to improve upon it. And so with that understanding, I don't have half-assed things right now. I am putting my full heart into it. I am understanding that things that I put out might not be the perfect version that I want, but I can imagine where I'm going to be a year from now. And I can see it. A year from now, if I keep doing what I am doing, I don't know what. Actually, I cannot even imagine, because it's going to be so far greater than what I had imagined or what I had hoped. I mean, my hope and my intention and my goal is to grow my community with soul-aligned clients and people who really get me. And more, I've been receiving messages from you saying things like, I just feel like we connect. I feel like you're reading my mind. I feel like you get me. I feel like you're real. And so it's working. It's working. Ooh, before I go, because we are about done here, the other day I hurt my arm. I wound up tearing my bicep, 2 little tears. I'm doing so much better. But I was feeling in so much pain that I canceled my workshop that was $111. I've decided to go ahead and do it for free. And we've had almost 300 people register. It is going to take place in 5 days. So January 7th, hurry up, get the link, sign up. I'm just going to do it because I don't want to wait too long. January 7th, I'm going to put the link below. It is 100% free. It's going to be amazing. And we're going to talk about creating soul goals. You're going to leave with the tools to make a vision board. It's 100% free. It just feels good to me. It feels aligned. It feels like it's something that I want to do. I want more people to be able to see and to experience and to feel my work. What better way of doing this? So I did refund everybody that paid. So if you want to register, the link is below. Please share with your family and friends. It's going to be amazing. January 7th. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening, and let's have the best year ever. If you loved this episode and if you're loving my podcast, I would love for you to leave a review. They really do make a difference in spreading the word and having more people be impacted. Also, I'd love for you to join me in my Facebook community called The Magnetic Portal. You can find the link in the show notes. I'll see you next time.